Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Penny Lane podcast with OBR Investing. This is a high-paced, exciting episode, and I know you're going to love it. This episode is brought to you by Pennies Going in Raw, Last Bottle Wine, and Help You Find Me.
The stock market is hotter than ever right now, and traders are taking advantage. But what does that mean for the people who still haven't started trading? The market can be a little intimidating at first, but you don't have to be alone in the learning experience. We at the Pennies Going in Raw podcast are here to help you. I'm Dan, and with my co-host Hugh Henney, we make the stock market a fun but informative experience for our listeners. We offer knowledge for all levels of traders, from beginners to those who do it full time. On PGIR, we discuss up-to-date news about the stock market and interview other traders who all started out just like us and made it big. You'll hear from Hugh and other multi-millionaire traders, founders and CEOs of companies, FinTwit superstars, and even professional athletes. Have you ever thought about investing your hard-earned cash but don't know where to start? Do you have money just sitting in your savings account collecting dust? We were all there once too. Listen to Pennies Going in Raw on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, Ben and Logan. Welcome to the Penny Lane podcast. Happy Friday. We're recording this on the first Friday of February. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having us on point.
Happy to do it. Ellis, you're here.
You don't sound too excited that I'm here, Blaine. Come on.
Ellis, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. No, this is exciting. I was messaging, I don't know which one you control the social media account, but actually two of my buddies are really big fans of you guys.
That's
so
awesome.
I told them I was interviewing you, and they're like, oh, dude, no way. And I was like, small world we live in. So
tell me a little bit about your social media. Ellis has been telling me that it is huge.
it's clean. It's really, really, really nice.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Logan, you mind if I kind of kick this off?
It's all you.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like our bread and butter when it comes to what we do in terms of operations. So when we kind of describe it, it's like 50% is our internals, and that's our community and everything that goes on. And the other 50% is social media. So namely right now, we are on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, like kind of really pushing on all those fronts. And it's been really, really well. We really started off on TikTok around January of 2021. And that's really what kicked off the rest. So TikTok has been sort of our alma mater, if you want to call it that. And has evidently developed into sort of our best relationship. You know, we are endorsed by TikTok. We signed with them in August, which is, you know, pretty unique. Like, I don't want to toot our horn or anything, but I guess we're one of the first, or even the first, quote unquote Discord groups or whatever they call them, that kind of received that status. And yeah, it's been great. We are at about 300,000 plus cumulative followers across an array of our platforms. So yeah, been really well. Instagram and TikTok have been really the ones that have been kicking it off for us.
Facebook is up and coming.
I don't know that much about TikTok, just to be honest with you. I think it's because I'm older. Like, I'm a big Instagram girl. So, silly question. Did you go viral on TikTok? Is that how you get the followers, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, with TikTok, that's a very common theme, right? Like, virality, or kind of getting one hit out there, is the formula that a lot of people sort of want to model off of and tend to benefit from. And I can't say that we didn't benefit from that, because I remember, like, in particular in March or something, we had one video that got like 2 million or 3 million views, and, you know, we only had like maybe a couple tens of thousands of followers, and we were like, whoa, like that's crazy. And that really kicked off things immediately. But evidently, you know, if you're not consistent and provide quality content, your audience won't engage, and they won't stay to see what you have to say. And that's really what it was about. We're, you know, posting multiple times a day and really haven't skipped a beat on that. So that's really what it's all about. Although virality does work. It is a very commonly used formula for that app.
Is your content stock related content?
Yeah. So we do.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we do it all, kind of, but mainly stocks.
Okay. Are you making calls throughout the day, or
Yeah.
you're just saying like?
I mean, hey, Logan Silver is one of the ones that's dishing them out, Logan. If you wanted to talk about that stuff.
Wait, before it begins, Logan, are you an options guy?
I personally trade Forex, options, and crypto.
Okay, I was gonna say you look like an options guy. You look like me, so that's why I didn't want to judge a book by its cover. And as far as like the social media stuff, what was the video that made you go viral? Was it anything special, or just the algorithm kind of picked it up and just put it on people's pages?
It really is never anything particularly special. One video that we had that went really viral was like a day in the life of a day trader in college, for example. And
okay,
that's kind of like the stuff that we want to gravitate towards, is like relatable things, and that's really what's been working out, lifestyle and kind of being able to relate with our audience on those fronts.
Okay. Did you guys have a helicopter in the video like the other guy did? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh man.
Okay.
No
you know that was
us.
rented?
No.
So Blaine, there's this guy on TikTok who was bragging about how much money he makes, and people found out in the comments that he rented a helicopter just to flex.
Oh.
And he was he's probably like 17. He's a pretty young guy, but I know they're in a community, so I thought it was funny if I brought it up. So no helicopters, right?
No helicopters for us.
Okay, I can trust you then. We're good. We passed that test, so we're ready to go.
Yeah.
We did have this one kind of trademark video that went viral on our TikTok, which is our marketing guy, Griffin. He rubs his hands together in a certain way and points up at these blurbs of texts, and those seem to do very, very well. I get a lot of people that come up to me, even random people on the street, and have asked me if I'm a part of OBR, and they say they've seen the guy on TikTok rubbing his hands together.
I love it. So you guys have your own little unique look. We're jingle.
Exactly.
I don't want to call it jingle, but that's awesome. Now, what does OBR stand for?
Yeah.
Is it like your initials, or I know it's on your Instagram, but if you want to kind of give like a little backstory of how you started before we kind of dive into like the internals. 'Cause I did a lot of research and I'm really excited. So
Of course, yeah. And to any Bostonians out there, what's up? Shout out Boston. But that's
I went to college in Boston.
where
Boston University.
I'm at Northeastern.
Love Boston. I love it.
Yeah.
It's cold as shit,
Oh.
but I like it.
Right now it's snowing there actually. So I'm in Jersey right now, so I'm glad I'm not up there.
Cool.
But,
cool.
Yeah, that's where it
I
comes
lived on Com Ave, right where BU is, right by Fenway. And I'm from Atlanta, so it was a bit of a culture shock, but it's fine.
Yeah, and I mean that is where it comes from. Outer Boston region OBR. It sounds very specific, and it's kind of something that it stuck. Really, like we at one point in time we actually polled our community, a few months, many months ago, and we were like, oh, should we change the name OBR? And they're like, no, don't change it. And so we never ended up changing it, and it actually fit very well too, because me being from Boston and a few colleagues on the team also in the Boston area and going to Northeastern with me, it kind of helped us connect with the people in that area a little bit better. Being able to attach a geographical name allowed us to, there's people in frats that are in OBR that I had no clue about, and all these different things, and so it's a pretty simple explanation, I guess. There isn't too much behind it, but yeah, shout out Boston.
Cool.
And frats.
Cool.
We like frats too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blaine,
Ellis,
do you like
were
frat
you in
boys?
a frat?
Yes, I was. I am a frat boy. Don't get that look.
I guess so. No, I guess so. My boyfriend in college was in a frat. My husband was in a frat, and his frat brothers are some of my favorite people. I think I'm a frat fan. I was not in the sorority, but
Okay.
yeah.
Now, how do you? So I guess what are you guys started grassroots? Did you just start at school? So you and a couple buddies got together. You guys trading, and then just kind of, hey, let's make an Instagram page. And it's hey, because I saw you guys' graphics. Everything's really clean. It's funny how you guys talk about how you have an internal media team, and I can tell because everything's very, very consistent and almost calculated. So I was curious, like the grassroots, because we're a podcast too, so we do a lot of grassroots kind of. More so Blaine trolling people on Twitter, calling out the haters.
I'm getting trolled on Twitter, Ellis.
Bro, everyone on Twitter, like, that poor guy, whoever's leaves a mean comment gets the wrath of people. It's so funny.
That guy was so mean.
Who cares, dude? He's just hating because he's not.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. If you're getting, you're getting haters if you're doing something right.
Do you guys get trolls?
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
I've never blocked anyone on Twitter, or like have been on Instagram forever. I've never blocked anyone. And I didn't want to start, but like he was lying. It just happened today, so.
How do you guys handle your trolls? Do you guys just ignore them?
Oh man, what is it? They hate us because they ain't us. Is that the
exactly? Yeah. Well, you guys are winning clearly. I mean, you guys built a pretty large platform and following, so I think they're just.
I mean, at the end of the day, really, like, especially for the social media, I say let them hate, boost the algo.
I love it.
You can say whatever you want. I mean, like I always try to think about it because it's like I'm only 20 and Logan and I are the same age, and like being young and
you guys are 20.
Yeah, we're.
I feel old now, Blaine. Oh my.
So I always want to comment back, and like in the beginning, it was always such like a distaste for it, and at this point, we're so numb to it because we have nothing that we need to prove to those types of people. At the end of the day, if they want to hate, let them hate. Just
boost the algo.
Yeah, boost the algo. Get my view count up.
I love it.
Ben, what are the medals behind you?
Oh, those are my medals from wrestling. I used to be a wrestler.
In college?
In high school. I was like, in my whole life, actually, up until the age of like 18. That's where me and Coach Dipka, we actually wrestled together in high school. So that's a pretty funny coincidence.
Cool.
We love Dipka.
Cool.
We love Dipka. Yes, we do.
Are you guys in Kane Capital too? Do you guys ever hang out in there?
We met up with them 2 months ago. We hopped on their pod, met their team. We know Coach Dipka and a few of their crew, and they're really cool people, awesome people. And hey, I have only good things to say about them.
I love him. He's a good dude. But
yeah.
Sorry, we got a little distracted. So just tell me about your beginning days, because I would say now you have a pretty good footprint in the social media space, especially with finance. And you guys are 20, so you're the same age group as me, so you understand how the algorithms work, how to market it. So I was curious, like, how you started when you had, like, let's say 5 people, or just your buddies getting together.
Yeah, sure. And I think, Logan, I definitely want to hear about these things from you, because you just have a completely different perspective than I think I do, from kind of just how long the journey has been. And to really simplify it, OBR Investing was at once a iMessage group chat with like 3 friends in it. And we would just like wake up every morning, text each other and talk every single day about what's going on in the markets, what we're paying attention to. And really that was what was going on from, I would say, August of 2020 to, let's say, October. And that's when we launched the community. We had a bunch of people hitting us up being like, can you add us to this iMessage group chat? And at one point we couldn't. So we had to open Discord. And it was a friends and family server, super simple. And we really didn't put, I would say, that much effort into it other than being in there, interacting and talking. But at some point we were like, okay, we're spending 10 hours a day plus on this. I'm either wasting a lot of time or I need to go out on a whim and see what we can do. And that's sort of what kind of came to be. So January is when I connected with a few people that were already like kind of helping me in the community, and a bunch of people that I knew personally. And so that's where we came up. January to June. Logan, I think we met up in, what was it? When did we?
I think it was very early in the year, probably January or February.
Yeah, something like that. And that was when I was in the process of kind of thinking, me personally, prior to this, I was like an analyst on the panel, and my kind of like viewpoint was like, okay, I'm like pretty good at this, but I know there's people that are better than me at this, and I want to be able to work with them. and manage them basically. And that's kind of the standpoint that I took. And so Logan was like one of the first few people that I got connected to. And I mean, we hit it right off the bat. Like we got connected after the first day. I think you hopped in the community, show us kind of what you got, and the rest has been history. But social media, as far as that, we kicked that off January, February, and have been really on a consistent media schedule with our own creative director. Shout out Brian Woj, who is the one you might have been communicating with on Twitter, who's our head of media. But yeah, that's really when things started to pick up between January to June. And that was what we call like our beta phase. And then June 1st, we launched, and that's when we started monetizing and all that.
How large is your team? Because I know he was saying there's analyst roles, you have directors. Like, how many are there? I guess we'll call them the board of directors, right? We'll make it sound fancy.
Yeah, no, I have 4 other partners with me on the co-founding team. I have 3 people on our media team. We have a team of 8 moderators, and we have 4 other analysts with 2 people from the co-founding team serving as analysts as well. So all in all, about 20 full-time employees on the team.
Wow.
And they're 20, Blaine. Come on. It's amazing. I love it.
We're all 20 to 25. Our oldest guy is, I think, Seb. We call him the old guy. He's like 25.
Whoa, I'm the old guy now, Blaine. Look. It's okay. I have 3 people on my team who are 55, so put it in perspective. They've been trading for 15 years plus, each of them. So now, how did you guys meet? You guys, so Ben and Logan, did you guys meet through social media?
We met through actually a friend that I went to high school with. So it was one of the first analysts that Ben brought in as a foreign exchange analyst, and he knew me because I helped him learn how to trade. So then he introduced me to Ben, and then obviously we kicked it off from there.
Okay, awesome. So what are the analyst roles? Is there certain things you guys specialize in? Do you do small caps, options? I mean, you said you did Forex too. Like that's Latin and Greek to me in the trading world.
Yeah. Well, the best part is we have analysts that do just about anything. So we have long-term investment specialists. His name's Clayton. Shout out to Clayton. We have Aliknak, who's one of the co-founding team members as well. He's focused on mainly options, intraday stuff. We also have penny stocks analysts. We have analysts that really cover almost all areas of the markets.
What's your favorite? For you, both of you, we have to pick. What's your bread and butter? If we pulled up the P&L, what would it say for options, small caps?
Right now, I haven't swung anything since September. So I've literally
same
day trading, literally just day trading, because swinging it's not the environment for swings, I think. And this is the thing too. It's like the market ever since 2022 kind of kicked off. It's like people's strategies took a bit of a turn. Like for me personally, I like swinging better, but it's just not working when the VIX is above 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you wake up, it's 32, and you're like, no.
Exactly. But yeah, Logan, do you have anything on that?
I was trading Forex for a much longer period of time, so for me, it would be Forex. But options is definitely gaining popularity in my mind.
Yeah, all the small cap people we got Blaine trading options. She went to short pumps, and now she's doing large caps. She's doing well too.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So how did you get into Forex, right? Because I think you're the first Forex person that's come on Penny Lane.
Oh, that's.
So I'm curious how you kind of got involved. Because like every time I see Forex, it's some dude on Instagram, a Lambo's trying to sell me a $50,000 course.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, I'm like, I don't even know if you can do algebra. So like, I'm curious, make a good example of the Forex community. So I was wondering how you got into it.
Yeah.
Where do you even trade Forex, right? I'm a noob to Forex.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of different brokers.
Yeah.
But in regards to how I got started, and by the way, that stereotype, trust me, you are not the first person to say that. You're not the last person to say that. Almost everybody says that. It's just an unfortunate reality that we do face, and it unfortunately does put a bad image on the market in general, just for people that are looking to get started, because there is a lot of scammers, unfortunately. But I got started because my brother was studying for his life insurance license, and in there he learned about options trading, and through that he learned about foreign exchange trading. And my brother is actually one of the Instagram guys. He's not flexing Lambos, I promise. Okay. But he got me into it when I was a sophomore in high school. And since then, I've been trading Forex.
Okay.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of different brokers, though, for your second question. The brokers that I've found a lot of reliability in, or obviously only the regulated ones, Interactive Brokers and Awanda. Those are the two in North America, but there's a lot of other options as well.
Okay. Are you trading on like 50x leverage too, like some of those Forex guys?
No. So a lot of the regulated brokers won't let you do that at all.
Really?
Yes, the highest you can go for most brokerages is 1 to 100, and you have to have a special request to do that.
Okay, so you got to call them and be like, "Hey, I know what I'm doing," so you can't just yeet 100x your money into some trade.
Right, but for any institutional level account, the most you're going to get for the most part is 1 to 25.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I need to get into. I had a buddy who started trading Forex. He's like, it's basically just technical analysis. It's nothing more than that. Support, resistance, bull flag breakouts, pennants. Except it's open 24/7, so it's similar to crypto. When I was trading crypto, when all these, we'll call them shit coins, right? Let the curse on here, we're going. Me and my buddy were buying like dog shit Elon coin, like just all these things. But I found myself up until like 5 o'clock in the morning. So how do you regulate like it seems like you guys are pretty busy. Do you guys have like a schedule when you trade? Like is there certain hours? Is there prime time hours? Like I know for options, right? We have the 9 to 11 here on the East Coast, which is pretty good. And then we go ghost until power hour. So I was curious, when it comes to Forex, if you guys have like a certain time you like to trade.
Yeah, well, that's everybody actually jokes about it because I go to bed incredibly early to wake up for the London session, which is around 5 a.m. in the Eastern Standard Time. So I'm waking up around then and starting my trading around 5:15, 5 o'clock, and I'm doing that until around 7 o'clock, and then I take a break to go to the gym before I then trade options at the open with the rest of the analysts. Only really trading Forex in the market open, though. So London session and New York session overlap.
Is that because London controls the big Forex market?
Yes,
Pretty sure
that's where most
players.
of the move happens, for sure.
Yeah, that's like I used to trade futures, so we'd wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and play European Open.
So you know all about it.
Oh, yeah. Lots of lost sleep, we'll say.
Absolutely.
A lot of great mornings, but also some really terrible mornings. I remember I shorted ES overnight, and I woke up, and I was like, nice, TD's going to call me today. I'm going to have to deposit a little bit more money. It's not a good morning. But do you guys have future analysts? Like futures people who do like, let's say corn futures or anything like that? Or not really?
Not at the time.
No. Yeah, no, nobody's trading soybeans on a team just yet, but
dude, cow manure is going to the moon right now, boys.
Cow manure.
It's like, yeah, lean cow futures. That's a new wave.
Are they off? Are the people off lumber? Is that not the wave anymore?
Lumber was so 2020, dude. Come on. Dude, I bought a Home Depot of all my lumber futures. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean we've explored it, but we haven't gone to it.
So I have a question that we can actually cut out if you don't want to answer it. Are you guys making more money with your trading or with your company?
Logan, you want to start off first, and I can go.
Yeah.
Considering we are completely different.
For the most part, all of the analysts, and I can't speak for all of them, obviously, but majority of them, if not all of them, are making more money from their trading than they are from the business.
Cool.
Yeah, as far as me too, I mean, the money is in the trading. The money is not in subscription business. That's what I always say to everybody, because people will be, especially analysts, will sometimes, newer ones at least, will feel pressured to like want to put out trades or something like that. And I say like that doesn't do you any good, right? If the money is in the trading, focus on the trading. Don't focus on having to reel people in because you hit a 1,000% banger. Me, I think this month, let's see, September and August, I made more money than I should have, and I almost have not touched the market since. To this week was the first time I've really touched the market since then. But we right now, in terms of subscription and things like that, we're doing pretty well. But we also have so many people on the team, so everybody gets their own fair share. But it's not more fair than what you can make off the market, in my opinion.
That's respectable.
It's so interesting. I've been going through some growing pains, I guess, with the podcast of just basically like Ellis and then my brother-in-law, Justin, co-host, and then our producer produces it. But the bulk of the work I'm just doing myself. And, it's taxing. Like I have two little kids you just saw, and it's just taking like so much of my time, and I've really been struggling with this week if I want to like spend money to get a marketing team or someone to sell ads or because the podcast right this second is not profitable. So I'm like, do I put more money in it to get a team to take some of the pressure off of me, or like how to do that? And I'm almost 40. I should like have some experience in how to do this, but it's such a hard thing to continue to like dump money into something that it's just like further investing. It's averaging down is what it is.
Right.
But I like this sort of business model that you guys have, because obviously this feeds all of you in terms of like trading knowledge and like things like that. Like you get probably a lot more out of being on the team, knowledge wise than you do maybe monetarily, which is that fair?
Oh yeah,
I think that's definitely fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that too. I mean, even being on the podcast myself, being exposed to like a lot of, I guess we'll say, private groups. I mean, the knowledge I've gained just from helping out is worth 10x whatever dollar amount.
Right.
And that's why you join a community, right? Because you say, so I'm in Sapphire trading. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Sapphire, but it's a melting pot, right? You get like trolls, scammers, DGen gamblers, and then you go to like an actually run paid community, and you actually get one-on-one help. You have other people who are actually really, really serious. You're just not going to have some guy that comes in there once every Friday typing in all caps going, Amazon to the moon, full port. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm the only one that runs options room in Sapphire, so like we get that a lot. And I tell people, hey, like let's not gamble on ER, and like there's like thousands of messages. So I think
I just sent out an announcement in our Discord yesterday about that.
Yeah, it's like, guys, don't put your whole account into Snapchat. And they're like, oh, dude, but it went 3,000%. You were wrong. I'm like, yeah, but it could have went to zero.
Right.
So,
right.
It was a coin flip. That's what we always say. It's literally a coin flip.
Yeah.
Irrational exuberance? When it comes to killer wine at drastically low prices, 30 to 70% off retail, and free shipping. We live for that here at Last Bottle Wines. Whether you went long or short on GameStop, you'll need a glass of something terrifically tasty, and we've got the goods. Last Bottle is a daily wine site based in Napa, California. One wine every day at Black Swan event prices, usually 30 to 70% off, until poof, it's gone. Whether you're a pound-the-table type, think ultra-crisp, quaffable Sauvignon Blanc, or a dividend aristocrat, Burgundy, or Napa Cab, there simply is no better place to buy wine on the web. And they always have free shipping. Last Bottle has a deal just for Penny Lane listeners. Use promo code PENNY, that's PENNY, to save 10% off your next order with Last Bottle. The code is good for one order and one order only, and it expires March 11th, 2022. So head over to lastbottlewines.com today. That's lastbottlewines.com.
How do you vet your analyst? Is there a vetting process? Because, you join a community, how do you know that people are legit, right? Because I know some paid rooms, like a couple I'm in, like they check my broker statements. Now, do you guys go that far, or is it more word of mouth, just kind of like checking their trade history, their performance over time?
When we first started onboarding analysts, namely it was the two in the co-founding team, so Austin and Andy. At the time, they were running like a pretty similar sized community. And we got connected through Nick, our head of media. And when he connected us, I was asking them, so like I straight up asked them, how much money do you make off trading? And it's like, it's a very black or white answer. Like usually it's, I'm not making money right now, or I'm making good money, and someone can say that pretty comfortably. When they both said that they were making money, I was like, okay, so what are you making money on? And if you don't mind me asking, what was the return on, what was your ROI on it? After we had those types of conversations, that's usually what I was kind of asking for people. Right now, what we're doing, especially with kind of the amount of eyes that we have on us, is that, our analysts will be publishing like P&Ls, things like that. And we're actually kind of working on a system to be able to better this, especially if we start scaling and want to add people that maybe I'm not as close with Logan, and that we can have these very transparent relationship. we're trying to think of how to simplify these things. But I mean, hey, it can be as thorough really as looking through things like, your statements and things like that.
Interesting. I only reason I asked because you guys seem very organized, and I was just curious if there was like a vetting process. But for now, it seems more word of mouth. But I mean, results speak for themselves, right? Like we all have bad weeks, so. But if you're consistently hitting, I like to call them rippers, right? I'm an options guy, so when you hit 100% ripper, I see you guys smiling.
You call it ripper, we
That's
call
really
them bangers.
good.
Same thing.
Bangers. All right. Well, bangers sounds. It's not PG-13, like. It's like I hit an absolute banger today on Mara. Like I'm not gonna lie. And
Ooh,
Snapchat.
I traded that too, Ellis.
Snapchat. I have a questionable amount of calls right now that are overnighting. Dude, no. When you hear my theory on this, I think a fund got trapped in it. I think a fund shorted it on SSR yesterday, and they're just fully trapped, and now they're just drilling into this fund. I got a text today about some margin call at 10:30 today, and there was a margin call if you look at SPY, and I think it's from Snapchat. Interesting. Yeah, so that's my great hypothesis. Am I going to be wrong and get trolled on Twitter? Probably, but fuck them. So how many people do you have in your community?
Right now, I'm looking at it on my other monitor. We have 36,076 members.
Holy shit. Okay. That's a pretty large community. Now, how do most people find it, right? Is it all through TikTok and Instagram, word of mouth? Like, we're like a couple buddies like, hey, man, I've been following this guy, and he's pretty good. Like, you should join.
I spoke to someone about that yesterday, actually. So what we do every month, and we started this in September, so the data isn't like too vast, but we do these benchmark surveys at the end of every month, and they kind of measure a bunch of KPIs that we have diluted. And one of the most important ones.
What's KPI? You got to translate for us.
Key performance indicator.
You guys have that for a Discord?
Yeah.
I know. I hope someone hears that and goes, "Wow, these guys are pretty legit."
And
like,
and one thing that's really important, right? And this is obviously for many businesses and this is a very general kind of point, but where is your customers or clients coming from? What funnels are they going through to actually get to the community or to actually end up purchasing the subscription?
Okay.
So over the last few months of data, the overwhelming results are kind of bouncing between TikTok and Instagram, but coming in third is referral. So what's really been on the rise is people telling their friends or their family or something to, hop on. When you join the server, you automatically are assigned a 7-day trial. And that's sort of what's been in the uptick as of recent.
Now, do you have like an affiliate program too? Like, hey, like if you refer like your best friend to join, do they get like a discount on their membership or anything like that?
We don't have that yet.
Okay.
We're thinking about it. It's something that our payment processor has like opened up as like a feature in their thing. But we haven't gotten around to that yet.
You hear all the indicators they have? This is a real. Now, do you guys have like business meetings like throughout the day? Like, like just you guys? Is it like 9 o'clock? You're out at the club with the boys, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta take this phone call," like a real Wall Street guy, like in a suit, like at Noto partying.
I mean, we're pretty like. I don't want this to sound corny, but we're definitely very professional.
Yeah, like, I can tell. That's why I'm trying to break that professional mold out of you guys. But you guys are too good. So. I'm trying to crack you guys.
It's funny because people always ask that. They're like, "Oh, you guys like have like meetings and all this." I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, like every Sunday, everyone knows this roundtable meeting, 1:30 p.m. every Sunday. Everyone's there, no questions asked. Wednesdays we have marketing meetings intraday. Tuesdays we have our every week, depending on the day, we'll have board meetings with the executive team. Analyst team has their meetings on their own accord. And then at the end of every month, we have our monthly outlook meeting where we kind of look at the month and see like what we've accomplished, what we have not done, what's in buffer, what might need to be pushed, benchmarks that were hit. And then we go into the month ahead and kind of what we have planned. And those are honestly my favorite meetings. So yeah, that's kind of we have a pretty packed thing when it comes to meetings. Sometimes I feel like we talk more than we do, but we're definitely very productive.
And you guys are students too, right? Both of you?
I'm personally not.
You're full time?
I am.
You're a savage, Logan. Go get them, bro. 20 years old, living the life.
Thank you,
Blaine and I were actually talking the other day. We have a bunch of buddies that we know from FinTwit who are all 20 years old, just living the life, and it really is inspiring. So I've been full-time trading for 6 weeks now. I've made more money than I probably ever will
Congratulations.
working a job. But unfortunately, I'm going back to work in a week because I'm a DGen. I wake up at 4 a.m., trade pre-market, get all my work done, then trade the market, work during lunch. Like I'm very much like you guys. I don't sleep. So that's awesome. Good for you guys. Now, what motivates you to keep going? You both can say it. So even if it's trading or OBR or life in general, like when you go to bed at night, where you guys have your outlook meetings, like what makes you happy? Like what do you want to see from your people that join and yourself and just personal development in general?
Well, that's a great question. And it's funny you say that because I actually just had somebody just now message me their P&L for the week, which is amazing. And that's one of the things that motivates me is the fact that there's not a lot of jobs that you have where you can go and you can see the impact that you have on people's lives. We have a chat in the Discord called Success, and it's just people posting their wins. We also have a Suck Less chat for people to post their losses. But,
I like that name.
yeah. And it feels really good, I cannot lie, about when somebody hits a trade that you post and they make a bunch of money on it and they say how much it's going to change their lives. It does feel good. And the team itself, they're inspiring to just work around everybody. I feel like everybody in the team inspires everybody else to be better and work harder. So that for me is the biggest motivator. And trading. I love trading.
Awesome. Follow-up question on that. Do you remember the first time you ever gave someone a play and they banked big? Do you remember that feeling?
I do remember the feeling. I don't remember the play, but I do remember the feeling.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that happened to me my first time. I think it was like a year or two ago. And I remember someone messaged me like, hey, like, I can buy Christmas presents for like my son. And I just remember sitting down like, hey, man, like I just messaged him back. I'm like, hey, I'm just 24 years old, like just giving out plays on Twitter, but I really appreciate it. I almost cried that night. I don't cry very often. But
you saying that sent chills down my spine because that really is the feeling. It's great.
It's hard to explain. I mean, and that's what motivates me, right? So, but I'll let you go on, Ben. What motivates you?
I can't say anything's different than that. When in the early days of OBR, when I was dishing out plays to like 10 people, it definitely
in the slums, right?
It definitely was a great feeling. But really for me, just because I'm very back end and focused on management, I think the best thing is the fact that we're still here and we're all in one piece, and that makes me happy every single day. Because one thing that I forgot to kind of preface is like, between the months of January to June, my whole shtick was like, okay, guys, we have to work for free and we're going to develop our product and we're going to develop our service. And June 1st is our date. We have 6 months to make this great. Let's do it. And somehow everyone believed me and was on board. And the fact that they were able to do that, and we got to June 1st and it was pretty slow in the first month. But seeing everybody still, everybody that is in January is the same that you see today. And just the fact that like I can look back on that and I can say like, just from me kind of bringing everybody together, like people have developed relationships that will last forever. Like Logan, you and Clayton are, best buddies at this point. We met each other in Miami when we were there in person, and
we had 11.
We didn't end up there, but
business meeting, what I'm saying, with the boys.
Yeah, but no, I think like that's really my biggest kind of heartwarming effect is I just love seeing kind of what this has become. For the better and the worse.
Yeah.
People like are relying on this and believe in it to take it to the next level. We always say like now every year is going to be a new beginning. And that's like every single month we always have more to look at, more to go for. And not only that, but the people want to do it, and that's the hardest part. And,
awesome.
Excuse my French, but for people to really give a shit about something, it's hard. Like I take it for granted because I got it right, I guess, the first time around. But every time I bring it up to people, they're like, wow, man, like it's really interesting how you found so many people in such a short span of time that really give a shit about something as much as you do. And I'm really not.
Don't discredit yourself, though. I mean, I'm sure those first 6 months are probably not all sunshine and rainbows, right? First, you had to rally the troops during COVID when everyone's like, nah, dude, we're all going to die. Zombies are coming. I just bought a new AR-15. Like, I got my shelter out bag. I'm ready to – it's over.
We definitely remember those times.
Yeah, you guys are sitting there like, no, like let's do something. I mean, that's a big thing I learned, I guess, being in a fraternity, right? It's always being a part of something bigger than yourself, right?
Yeah.
So now, do you have any? You want to share any? I guess I want to say sob stories in the first 6 months, but maybe like some challenges you face, because maybe there's another 20-some-year-old out there who's starting a business, and they know where they want to go, but they don't know how to get there. So maybe you can share like a story of like trials and tribulations type.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. The first 6 months were definitely not all rainbows and sunshine. And especially
Yep.
during school too. Like I'm in a position right now where I'm pretty good because at Northeastern, Blaine, do you know about the co-op program at Northeastern? Are you familiar with that? So there's this like program at
Mm-mm.
Northeastern where you go and you work 6 to 8 months at a company full time instead of classes. And my alternative is I joined this program where the school is like funding me and letting me work on OBR for the next 6 to 8 months. But when I did
Yep.
have
Oh,
school,
nice.
it was not like it was difficult. I don't want to like have a pity party or anything like that, but it's not fun when it was in school. I mean, from the months of January to June, I was actually crashing on my friend's couch in Boston. And I was just like cracked out all night, just like on the Discord and all this stuff. And my friends were like, dude, like what are you doing? Like, and I'm like, I'm bumming on their couch from like a few months because I didn't have my apartment in Boston. And that's kind of just like how it was. Like I'd wake up on the couch, kind of like just do my thing, interact. And after like 5 p.m., when I would check out of I worked at a VC the semester prior. So this is what I would do like when I was done with work for that day. Like, and it was remote. So I could like, mess around throughout the day on the Discord and they wouldn't notice. But
Yeah, and you were an
yeah,
intern probably, right? So I didn't have that too many
exactly.
responsibilities. But I'm sure VC. I worked in IB, so I'm very very familiar with how things
Yeah,
go. Especially as an intern, it's like you have nothing for 2 weeks, and it's like, hey, can you stay till 3 a.m.? And you're like,
yeah,
I'm working on something else, but I don't know how to tell you I'm working on something else.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like the first 6 months was just filled with no sleep, figuring out who was here for the long run and who wasn't. And every single day, and even to this day, there's always fires to be put out or obstacles to have to take on. And it's a matter of how efficiently we do them. And we've gotten more efficient over time, but we still got some more to go.
Awesome.
This reminds me so much of my friend Al Hill, who we've had on the podcast, who during SPAC was working in investment banking in New York, and he and his friend decided to create a SPAC, which they created and IPO'd like faster than any SPAC has ever IPO'd. I mean, like it's incredibly impressive in their early 20s, and they just graduated from college and were at their first jobs. COVID hit. They're creating the SPAC. The co-founder slept under his desk at his job. Like he'd be working until 11 o'clock at night at his job. And then he'd work on the SPAC all the way to like 4 a.m., take a 2-hour nap. And then everyone thought he was the first person there in the morning. But like that kind of like dedication. And then I think the pressure that COVID put on all of that of like, maybe I don't want to work this regular job for the rest of my life. So let me just work as hard as I can right now to build something for myself. Feels like such a nice thing to come out of COVID versus all the wreckage and all the terrible things. But I found his story so inspiring. He played college tennis, which is why I was asking about your medals. And the guy that was sleeping under his desk, I got that wrong. Like he'd stay up until 4, go to sleep until 6, get up, go to the gym for an hour, and then continue working. So he sacrificed his sleep so that he could go to the gym because it was like that important to him. And they're impressive. This is impressive. The amount of work that you've put into building this is super.
Thank you.
Super
Actually,
impressive.
funny story. One time, I vividly remember this. My buddy sent me to his room because he was like, "Don't sleep." He was like, "Don't sleep on the couch. Like, you need a bed." So he sent me to his room and made me sleep in his bed for like a few hours because he saw me and saw I wasn't doing too well. But yeah, the sleep sacrifice definitely, I think, will always be a factor. And And if you want to make things work out and you have a tight schedule, it sounds unhealthy, and I'm sure it is, but sometimes you have to.
You're 20, dude. You don't need to sleep. Sleep's for when you're like 40 and stuff like that, and maybe 50. Was there ever a moment
ageism, Ellis.
What?
This is ageism.
No, it's not.
If you're 40, you
am I
need
gonna
to
get
sleep.
canceled? That was my biggest fear. I was just kidding. Was there ever a moment where like you didn't believe, or was there ever a moment where like you thought like this is all gonna come crashing down? And can you describe kind of like your feelings at that time or anything like that? Because there's been many times, even in trading, right? It doesn't have to be OBR related, but is there ever a time where you're just like, I don't know if this is for me? And how did you kind of tackle those emotions? Because I think emotions are a big part, especially in the finance world. Whether you're at VC, IB, trading, options, and penny stocks, I think it's all emotions. Or Forex. Is there any time where, Logan, you've been doing this since you were a sophomore, so I'm sure you have some stories of where it's like, hey, man, like, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah, I actually do have a story relating to that. So it was when I was getting out of high school. I was looking at either joining the Air Force because I wasn't happy with my trading results, and I figured it would give me time to work on my trading and gather income while learning other skills. And I was so close to signing the papers, but the 4 days before I was supposed to sign the papers, I got a job offer from a proprietary trading firm for Forex. And I was like, this is a sign, thank you. And I took the job, and then I never joined the Air Force, obviously. And that was having that happen did help me a lot. And then in any other times where I was questioning, I never thought that it wouldn't work out, but there was obviously times when things were more difficult. So I just told myself that I'm either going to literally die trying or I'm going to see this through. And that always got me through.
Ooh, the Will Smith quote.
Did Will Smith say that?
Will Smith is my favorite one. I actually was talking to Hugh Henney about it the other day, Ellis, but Will Smith said, I'm paraphrasing, but if you and I get on the treadmill at the same time, either you're going to get off first or I'm going to die. Like, and then he finishes up and he's like, I will not be
I'm going to
outworked.
think about that when I'm looking at the person next to me at the gym in a few hours.
I always love that. Just like there's so many things you can't control. How smart you are, how rich you are, all of those things. The only thing you can control is like your attitude and how much you're willing to work for what you want.
Right. You just have to want it enough.
Yeah.
Right.
My grandfather always said that to me. He said, wake up every morning with a smile on your face. You'd be amazed at how far you can go. That's what he
definitely
said
agree with that.
He's like, so many people in the world just wake up miserable. Like, no one wants to work with someone that's miserable. Like, even when I'm having a worst day, like, say I lose like a boatload of money, I'm still chilling. Like, whatever. I got animal crackers in my pantry. I'm good to go. Now, I got a question about that proprietary trading firm. Now, did that give you the confirmation, like, hey, someone believes in me, so?
Absolutely. It gave me a lot of faith because I realized, this is not just a side hobby now. This is a skill that I can monetize and take to other people and provide value to them as well as myself. So it was a huge boost in my confidence, but also it showed me that this was really starting to work. And it was like a sign from the universe in my mind that this was it was finally starting to show its fruits.
Now, if your brother didn't do it before you and you told your mom that you got that job, how would she react to that?
Well, my brother actually didn't sign with a prop firm. And my mom was never really part of it, but my dad was always questioning it because he didn't know how legit it was. And even my brother was like, yeah, bro, I'm going to believe you when I see you get a paycheck. And I remember vividly because I got my first paycheck from them and I slammed it on his desk and I walked out.
But hey, Dad, look at this. Gotcha. That's funny. I actually had the same experience on the holidays. My mom, she was asking me like, oh, like, we were trading and all that. Like, let me see the numbers. And I showed her the numbers. She's like, this is what you're doing? I'm like, yeah. She's like, holy shit, keep it up, kiddo. And I'm like, all right, 2 years of saying I'm gambling, and now here we are. It's like, hey, can you do that for me now?
Sometimes the parents don't believe in the magic internet money until they see it.
Yeah, exactly. The magic internet printer. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Now, what about you, Ben?
You should change your resume to unemployed internet degenerate. That's what I'm going to put up.
No, our resume is good. I actually, in college, I used to do resume and interview skills. That was always like a big thing for me, as I really enjoyed. Like, I loved when like a 19-year-old kid came to me and was like, hey, I want to work at like a big firm or do something like that. And I used to like coach him on that. The school paid me. That's why I like what you guys do too, because one of the biggest things that's really important to me is kind of helping like young men and women out. Like, cause I'm the second person in my family to graduate high school. So I think it's important to kind of give back, because you never know, there could be some kid out there who wants it so bad, and as long as you give him an outlet, he's gonna explode. And that's something that I take really personal. I don't know if I ever shared that to Blaine before, but
No, that's cool.
yeah. Now, Ben, what was the time you thought you were gonna give up?
Man, I mean, I gotta stay as the spearheaded CEO here, but no, I'm joking. But
Okay.
I mean,
You can lie to me. It's fine. No one will know.
I can't say that I didn't have any times where I was just like, damn, am I really gonna like fail like 15 people? And that's like it again,
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like a pity party, but the fact that, come June 1st, that was like, and Blaine, to go back to your last point, like there was a pressure that was on with that. Like everybody knew June 1st, this is the date. Everything's got to be set up. Website, payment processor, the whole server needs to be designed, security, this, and that. And that was what put on the pressure. And at that point in time, it was like, okay, either we flop, and we all go home and we go back to the drawing board, or we see what happens. And I was kind of counting on that. I was kind of like really counting on it working out, because like I didn't want to disappoint a bunch of people. And the first month, it was not good, to be honest.
Logan's laughing. Uh-oh.
Well, I was actually just about to bring up the first month, because the first month we met that deadline, but it seemed like we rushed it just a tiny bit. So Ben,
no. I mean, I agree with you. It's like we were always thinking about it. We were like, when is it right? Like, when have we gone under the fullest amount of development on product and service front that we can, to the point where we're ready. And the thing I always hear is like, you never actually know when you're ready. Like you just, you have to do
Totally.
it. And I think that pushed us, and to go on to what I was saying before, like the first month was rough, everybody was expecting, okay, major launch. We had like, we had a big thing with like our media team. We created like a really cool launch video that was like, had really good production to it, had no helicopters or private jets in it, Ellis, I can tell you that.
Cool. All right. Yeah. That was my next question.
And then when we did that, it wasn't like fireworks directly after. It was kind of like difficult, because it's like, okay, well, we still got July and August to go. We still got those 2 months in the summer.
Yep.
But if those don't work out, will my guys stick with me moving forward? And thankfully, so at the end of June, July, and August, it really boomed. And it had a lot to do also with social media. So just generally speaking, we were getting so much more traction, and it came at just the right time. Like, when morale was almost at its lowest, I could say, and people were kind of questioning like where we were going to take this. Could we go another 3 months with working on this full time with no pay, or 4 months? And yeah, that was a very difficult time. I can say that for sure. Like the month of June was very hard. And then I could say like there wasn't anything harder than that. Maybe like moving forward, September was like a transitory month, because a lot of people, including our staff, were going to school after this, huge summer tirade that we just had. But overall, like after that, we've just been pedal to the metal, and honestly have not skipped a beat. That was really our the only time I can really recall like sitting down and being like, shit.
Well, because you probably had dreams for like 6 months of Lambos and helicopters, right? Like, this is going to work out. Like, our members are going to make millions. We're going to make millions, It's always that anticipation. I mean, I know when I first started trading, I go to bed at night, I'm like, oh, man, dude, like, this is going to be it, right? And it never works out that way. But no, I appreciate your honesty. And something I've really observed when you speak is you always talk about your team. And I think that's what makes you unique from a lot of people, is you actually care about your team. I feel like you see some young guy managing a bunch of people that they're just in it for the money, but you keep bringing up your team over and over and over again, and how much they really mean to you. So I just want to point that out as an observation, and I really like that.
And I just want to quickly say, Ben, and like the entire success of OBR really came from the team that Ben built, and It was nice to see that the company culture that is now formed really started from the top. Ben and the rest of the admin team really, I think, put in the right leadership in place at the right times to bring us to what we are today. Everybody's very motivated. And Blaine, going back to your point earlier about your thought about hiring a team, there's no doubt that we would not be where we are today if we didn't have everybody on our team. It was a really big culmination of all of everybody's efforts that really helped us to get where we are today and where we're going. It wouldn't be the same without everybody.
Definitely. Yeah. You can't attribute it to one person. You know, that's something that goes especially for, you know, small things. And I don't know if we're that big, but bigger things, you know, and that's all that I can attribute it to. Like, and that's the reason why I started it, is because I knew I couldn't do this alone. Definitely not. And I needed the right people to do so. And they're only going to stick around if you treat them right. That's, you know, that's, it sounds kind of cliche, but it's really that simple. You know, I just wanted to make sure that they were taken care of, and that they were being treated right, and that we all had respect for each other. That's I think is incredibly, that's what holds everything together and keeps us from killing each other, is that we all have a lot of respect for each other. You know, it's like,
especially a bunch of young 20-year-olds, man. All those hormones running through your body.
Like all that testosterone is just like running through everything.
Yeah. And trading, oh man, trading gives people some crazy egos sometimes too. It's like, oh, I made 25K today, dude. What'd you do? I'm like, yo, chill, bro.
Yeah, no, I think that's really the most important thing. Like, again, the team is OBR. Without the team, there is no OBR. If the team were to get up and leave, which they could have done at any point, there would be no OBR, and you know that's the reason that we are what we are today.
Cool.
Now, what would be advice you would give to Blaine about building a team if she wanted to go that route? Like, what are some like keys? We'll put Blaine on the spot, but what are some keys that you learned from, you know, your building and your success that you would give to someone who is just starting that journey?
Definitely be okay with hiring the wrong people sometimes. I think like sometimes you might get really good first impressions off people and you think they're amazing and all this stuff, but then you get to certain situations and it's like, oh, we aren't as similar as I thought we were, you know, professionally, that is. And that's something that I guess I always kind of kept in mind, like, especially now, like looking back on it, out of the whole team, like not everyone, but 90% of the team that was in January is here. And then like 10% are the ones that, you know, either were not for us or, you know, just didn't have that passion, the drive. Like there's people, and this is the other part of what makes me so grateful for the team, is that like they're so happy to just even get in an intro call and get to talk to you about it. And you can almost like feel the passion oozing through the screen, through the Zoom screen, you know, and that's like really what it is. Like, I think I would rather hire somebody who's so incredibly passionate, has, you know, maybe moderate skills, but I would rather hire him and grow him than hire some guy who is, you know, top tier, but really couldn't give a shit about me telling him what needs to be done and how to do it, you know. And that's something that I would keep in mind, is be okay with you know, filtering out some people along the way, because you're never going to be you're not going to have 100% win rate, right? Isn't that what they say? You're not going to have 100% win rate. But definitely, I think passion is the most important thing, and if you have a good passion barometer, then you'll have a good feeling when you see it, I think.
Cool.
She's an artist. She has a passion barometer. Come on. Right? Isn't art and passion kind of one and the same, right?
I think so.
I can't draw, so I don't know. Now, question for you guys moving forward. Do you ever think of, this is just me spitball off the top of my head, do you ever think of maybe starting like a consulting service? I was
thinking about, you know, it's really funny. I was thinking about one thing in the future, and I think that obviously this stems a lot.
Maybe 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah,
but just
I mean,
in general.
I think this is the big theme: online communities. I think a lot of big, not necessarily huge, but a lot of big corporations, a lot of big companies are falling back now onto online communities, like we said, to this more grassroots type of connection to their customer base. And that's something that I think a lot of people are going about the wrong way, or don't know how to do at all. That's something that I've kind of just been rumbling in my head. You know, if these types of things get much bigger, which I do think they will, companies will need to step their game up in the online community space.
Yeah, imagine like McDonald's had a Discord and we'd be like, "Yo, man, or Burger King." It's like, "Hey, can you bring those chicken fingers back?" Like,
Yeah.
come on, what are you doing?
Why not?
Like,
They could drop a poll in there, and that's how they'll get real feedback.
Exactly. And if people are active too, they're loyal customers, right? You get the best of both worlds. I mean, it's literally a direct pulse check on your product and your company and how people view it. I mean, I know hedge funds track social media, so I wonder if like big corporations track social media sentiment.
Yeah.
Just one of those thoughts. Well, if you make millions off that idea, just Venmo me. Right?
I'll be sure to hit you up, Alice.
Word. Hey. I'm a consultant myself. Says it on my resume. I just wrote it. Now, as far as OBR, like the next 5-10 years and yourselves, where do you see the team? Where do you see yourselves individually? I mean, Logan, you have a pretty superstar resume. Ben, you're very well spoken. You don't even have a Boston accent. I'm a little disappointed. I know you're from North Jersey, but
yeah.
Where do you guys see yourselves? I mean, you're guys. I would consider you guys probably titans of the game right now. You've built your social media presence is incredible. I mean, I know Blaine loves like aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, totally.
Have you checked out their Instagram or anything or TikTok?
No, but it's the first thing I'm going to do after this.
She never researched. I always research. Like I said, I was talking to my two buddies today.
I like to go in fresh, so I can just ask. Because our audience hasn't researched.
That's true.
Right? So, I don't know. I feel pretty strongly about it. I like to just
jump right in. All in or all out, right? That's how trading works.
Right. But I appreciate you for researching.
Yeah, well, I got really like that. I talked to my two buddies, and they're like, "Yo, OBR, like, you know those guys?" I'm like, "No, they know me, dude. Get it right." Now, so yeah, where do you guys see yourselves? I mean, what are you excited for in the future? What's your take on the market right now? Like, is SPY going to 400 on Monday? Hit me with some knowledge.
You want to kick this off, Logan?
Sure.
Yeah, let's start with knowledge first on the market. Like, so how's London doing today? Like, what are we seeing? 'Cause I saw the yen was a little goofy today. Russia might invade this weekend.
Well, I actually took today off because today was NFP news release, and on NFP news release, I'm usually not trading just because of volatility in the foreign exchange market.
Too much risk. Yeah.
So I was taking off today, but absolutely could have moved. We can go into SPY if you'd like to.
Yeah, hit me.
Never, ever share your passwords to your crypto wallets. You already know this. But what happens if something were to happen to you? An emergency or worse? How can you securely share this information, as well as other critically important info, safely with the people you trust the most when you're unable to personally share it? The answer is Help You Find Me. It's an end-to-end encrypted data sharing service specifically designed to only share data in emergency situations. You share your information with the people you trust the most and set rules on how and when they can access this information. Since it's end-to-end encrypted, nobody, not even Help You Find Me, can access this information except you and the people you specifically share it with. In an emergency, your loved ones will be under enough stress. Don't add to their burden by making it difficult for them to help you by not having access to critical information. Try Help You Find Me for free by going to helpyoufindme/PLBlaine.
Cool. Yeah. So for SPY, I mean, are we going to see 400 on Monday? Probably not. But we are anticipating some kind of move lower right now, just because we did have, as you know, a very impulsive start to the week, pretty much the entire week, really. So we are in a weird time right now, in my opinion. We need to see what kind of correction we're in, but I'm looking at very important levels right now between 458. If we break that high at 458 we made yesterday, I do really think we're going to continue higher. I think we will see some kind of V-shaped recovery. But then again, if we break this low, if we make a lower low around 443.85, I do think we are going to see a push to the downside. Me and Austin, Aliknak is his server name, we utilize the Elliott Wave framework in most of our analysis.
You guys are Elliott Wave guys?
Yeah, big Elliott Wave guys.
Let's fucking go. That's sick. Love it. Awesome.
Alice, we were on a podcast last night where we weren't feeling the Elliott Wave.
I don't like Elliott Wave, but when someone knows about Elliott Wave, I will pick their brains all day.
I would love to know why you guys don't like it.
Oh, I don't have an opinion on it.
Oh, I just know nothing about it. So if I don't know anything about it, I'm from Philly, so we got to trash it, right?
I'm from right outside of Philly, by the way.
Oh, let's go. You really?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say, like, what? Are you from Cherry Hill?
Very, very close to Cherry Hill, yeah.
Let's go. I just dropped my girlfriend off at the Orange Theory there a couple of 2 nights
Oh,
ago.
no way. That's actually really funny.
I go to Wegmans there to go grocery shopping, but everyone drives Teslas and Beamers, and I pull up in like my beat up Philly car, and everyone looks at me weird. I don't have any Louis Vuitton on, so they judge
No
me.
lamp
Like,
propellers.
Especially in Cherry Hill.
that's awesome.
Yeah. But why I was bringing up Elliott Wave is because according to the Elliott Wave principle, we did identify a 5-wave move to the downside. But there's a chance that becomes invalidated, like I said, if we do break that high at 458.30, just about. So in between this consolidation level, I'm not really looking to play anything. I want to see where the market is trending, and I kind of want to just ride that trend. Because right now it's a more awkward part of the correction than we've been in the last couple of days, for sure.
Interesting. No, I 100% agree with the thesis. I have 460. We go to the moon and make all-time highs, and 440 is doomsday. I keep it real simple when it comes to my trading. I have like my daily levels, but that's kind of how I view it. We're just an awkward chop. Like today was a low volume short squeeze, right? That's all it was today. Now, I have the so what's the AUD JPN? They said they're pricing in a 50% probability Russia will make a move lower, make a move over the weekend.
JPN?
You know what that means? Yeah, what is that? Is that the Japanese?
The Japanese yen would be JPY. So I'm thinking it's a typo. Could be wrong.
Okay, it's definitely JPY.
Okay. Yeah, AUD/JPY is the cross pair between the Australian dollar and the Japanese yen.
Interesting. Now, can you look at Forex and kind of see what's going to happen in like the global like macroeconomic or political environment?
That's a really good question. I personally have a very weird stance when it comes to fundamentals, and I talk about this quite a bit, and I do say I will die on this hill. I do truly believe that the technicals, to some degree, lead fundamentals outside of large earnings events like we saw on Snapchat and obviously Google. But I am a very heavy technical leaning trader. I pretty much only listen to the technicals.
Logan, we said short the lira,
Nothing wrong with that.
Then isn't that what we say? Turkey's collapsing, so short the lira.
I actually have not looked at that in a while, but yeah, that was mooning last time we last looked at it.
You know what's crazy about Turkey is that their inflation's so bad that they'd rather you put their money into the Turkey Stock Exchange, but then they kind of realized what was going on, so they tanked the stock exchange, and people were just losing money left and right.
Right. Well, their interest rates are so high there to counteract their monetary value that's obviously decreasing incredibly fast. So it's just a very weird economic environment that they're in right now.
Yeah, the president loves inflation. Everything he's doing, he like claims on media that like, oh, let's help inflation, but like we're all sitting here in the U.S. like, I don't know about that one.
Exactly. And that's why it's considered one of the emerging markets and not one of the major groups yet.
Well, they had a chance to become better, but
they did.
Yeah, they blew it. It's okay. That's awesome. So you think we're more in like a chop environment right now?
For SPY, at least, yeah, I do think so right now. Again, just looking at those two levels to really decide where we're going, I don't think there's enough price action to really gauge a true market sentiment right now.
So you're a patient guy, right? So you're just going to sit and wait and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Is there any days where you just don't see any setups and you just go play Xbox or read books?
I don't personally play Xbox, but absolutely. And we talk about that a lot. And I think not trading is a active trading decision because some days it's not the days to take a trade. And we definitely don't want to force any trades because that's when you lose. And we're not in the business of having anybody in our Discord or any of our analysts force a trade and lose money.
Probably the first guys that have said that, and I actually believe you. Because a lot of people are like, oh, like I didn't trade today. I'm like, no. You alerted SPY YOLOs. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was it's funny you bring that up because that was something that I was discussing with the analysts when we first started putting out more alerts. Is because a lot of the analysts, like Ben said, feel the pressure to alert trades because that's what people are paying for, right? They're paying for the alerts to some extent. But then, like Ben also mentioned, it was a process of working out of that and just being like, okay, if we're doing that, that's actually providing a disservice to everybody in the community as well as ourselves. It's best to wait for our strategy to play out, follow our rules correctly so we can take the highest probability trade rather than force anything. And I just really don't like taking lower probability trades and having people lose money.
Well said.
That's respectful. I feel that pressure too, especially like on our Sapphire and Sapphire. People are like, oh, like why aren't you posting alerts? I'm like, I'm only gonna post stuff that's like I know from history is 90%, right? Like we're either gonna bank big or we're just gonna cut it for a loser. Everyone's like, oh, why aren't you posting like your day trade scalps? Because I don't want someone to see it 20 minutes later when we're already gone and on to the next one, and they get screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Ben? What's your trading strategy? Like, what do you think of the market right now? Did you make any trades today? You said it was your first day back, right? First week back?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we obviously tripled the account,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Clearly
Oh, yeah.
Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went all in Snapchat,
All
right?
in
Obviously.
Facebook puts.
Yeah. Oh, all in Facebook puts.
Google.
Google, dude. I knew they were gonna split it.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
Word.
Not at all. No. I think like for me, it's been pretty simple. I told Logan this actually a few days ago. Like I've simplified it down to news and volume. That's all I need. News, volume, and fundamental market context. So what I mean by that is right now the VIX has been trading above 20 since the year started. So I'm not swinging anything. That's like a rule that I have.
Yep.
One thing that I'm looking for, and this is all so simple, but news and volume. Piton was actually a great stock to short this month based on news and volume. They had a bunch of volume come in and they had a bunch of bad news come in. Why not? And I bought puts. It's a pretty simple thing. What else? I love this DGen name, DWAC, Trump stock.
Oh, DWAC.
Yes.
Everyone loves DWAC. That's going. I think that's gonna be the next AMC.
I literally added Logan. I go, if anyone is feeling dangerous, I am looking at DWAC right now. And he goes, that made me LOL. And that's because Trump had a rally last Saturday. I picked up calls that Friday because on their last rally, DWAC shot up 25%. The IV was pretty low.
Yep.
There was a good amount of open interest. I said, okay, I picked up a swing. I think this week they went up 10% on Monday, another 15% on Tuesday. Don't quote me on that. But that was something I played. And SoFi, another news and volume play right there. But that's literally all it's been. News, volume, and being in and out on the same day or swinging with good time because I don't like to get crushed.
Respectable.
Yeah.
See, I don't have that patience. I used to, but not anymore. Now, I think 2 days ago, me and my buddies were on voice chat, like trying to scalp SPY, and it moved 20 cents for like 3 hours. So we realized that, I just gotta wait till the end of the day nowadays.
I think that was yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday.
On my red day.
You had a red day yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Same. I got caught in the first pump and dump in like 2 years.
I
probably.
like to trade
it was
SPY
red,
in the
just-
dartboard market when everything is green. You just rip a SPY call, not when VIX is teetering and I'm looking at SPY. Oh, we opened at 450 today, closed at 441.
Yeah. We're literally, it's skipping penny stocks. One of my buddies today messaged me. He was like, yo, SPY's going to go to 500 today. We're just going to teleport right there and create a huge gap. And I was like, I could see it. I could see it in this market. I also heard
out today, equity market is acting kind of crypto-y right now.
Yes, very. It's almost kind of scary, right? Because, I have a finance background. I went to school for finance. I've worked in finance my whole professional life. And talking to some old coworkers and stuff, I'm like, dude, do you see what they're doing right now? He's like, this is not normal. He's like, this is either going to be doomsday or this is going to end and everything's going to go back to normal. I'm like, I'm starting to lean more towards the doomsday hypothesis. Snapchat up 60% after hours.
That was crazy.
On what?
Crazy.
Google literally falling from the heavens? Like, off of what? Like, it just doesn't.
Even today.
Well, apparently this was the
well
first
with
month
me.
that Snap turned any profit.
Is that what it is?
That's
'Cause they
what
were
I was told.
profitable?
Even today with Amazon.
Remember Snapchat was at 80? Yeah, Amazon. I thought Amazon was going to go sub 3,000 today for some reason. I just kind of had that feeling. But again, like, Snapchat, I'm watching it after hours, and it just broke, like, yesterday's highs. Like, it's not, like, it looks a lot bigger than it really is, but then you look at the chart, and it's like, okay, this is down 50% in, like, 2 weeks. It's not healthy. I don't think it's healthy.
So Ellis, I'm curious. And Blaine, what kind of trading do you guys do? Is it more discretionary or more mechanical?
Define discretionary and define mechanical. I'm a technical trader, or unless I know like news is going to come out by reading like dark pool stuff like that.
Yeah.
Penny stocks too. I'll swing for catalyst, but I would say more technical. Like I don't trade the first hour of every day. I'm much more of a dip time, like a dip lunch buyer, right, on a trend day. That's kind of where I make most of my money.
Yeah. When I say discretionary, I mean more of like naked trading, like support and resistance levels. And then when I say mechanical, I mean more indicator based.
I would say I use one indicator. It's called VWAP.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I just use VWAP and the 8 EMA. 8 EMA is almost like my trend system, right? So if it's above, it's bullish on the 10-minute chart, below bearish.
I use the 8 EMA as well.
Yeah, that's as complicated as I go. I used to use like 8, 21, 55, like all these time frames, and I realized that the less indicators I have, the more profitable I've been. Because I feel like people rely on their indicators too much rather than like support and resistance, right? So I play opening range breakouts, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Today I did play Snapchat today because someone told me that some fund was getting squeezed. And I started holding at like 35, 36 level. I'm looking at it. I'm like, ooh, this looks juicy. So still have those left over. I have Mara too because we got the weekly breakout in Bitcoin. But yeah, I play it all. I started in options and then the more Discord. I was trading options in college because I took it's called investing at my college. It's basically options 101. And then I used to only do like theta gang strategies, right? Like selling covered calls, that kind of stuff. And then I flipped the other way and became a full degen. So here we are.
I got a new setup this week. Did you see that, Ellis?
I saw. That looks clean.
It's badass.
Yeah.
Shark Trader helped me walk me through all of that. But now I have Ripster's Clouds and a whole wave and on the same chart, which is what I'm using. And it's like so much better because I was doing 9, 20, 50, 100.
Yep.
And it was just like too much. And now there's like one line and the clouds. And I traded better this week than I've ever traded. So simple. I'm liking it.
Awesome.
That's not bad. Sometimes a little change of scenery does a whole lot. Like I actually redid my setup about 2 weeks ago. I used Webull to trade, and it was like really, really messy looking. Like I had like charts like crooked. Like it looked sloppy. So I fixed it today. So now everything's even, cleaner across the board. I have my hotkeys ready. But sometimes a little change of scenery.
I like RSI a lot too.
Do you guys use RSI?
Big into,
We definitely like the RSI.
Yeah, I like RSI.
Really?
I like it.
Yeah, RSI, MACD.
Really? Oh, man.
Sometimes if I'm like thinking I'm going to take a trade, but it's like getting toward overbought.
Overbought. There you go.
Either one. I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, and it can really save me. I just like to give it a little check.
Yeah, I always the only thing I use the RSI for is divergences.
Right. Yeah. I look at RSI for below and under the thresholds. Like what you said, Blaine, for overbought and oversold levels. It's the only thing I really pay attention to when it comes to.
Yeah.
I realized doing that, a lot of equities can be overbought or oversold for a very long period of time.
That's a really good point, yeah.
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 Things can go much, much higher than you expected and much, 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 much lower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, final question. Do you guys long-term invest? Do you guys have a little portfolio? Do you take your trading profits and put it in there, or are you fully active in managing your portfolio at all times?
Me
personally, go ahead.
I have my Roth, which I opened a year ago, and then
congratulations.
Yep,
and
congratulations.
Then I have my long-term port in my TD Ameritrade, and then I have a Thinkorswim for Ellis. I think degenning is that what we call it?
I call it degenning, but I think it's because most people when they hear options think we're degens. But I have really, really specific risk reward criteria. Like I don't risk certain amounts. Like I'm kind of weird when it comes to it.
That's what I got, and then I got some crypto on the side as well. Can't forget about that.
Absolutely, can't forget the crypto bag.
Logan, I don't think that I actually fully answered the trading question. I also I just a day trader.
Okay.
I'm trading options, only day trading. I have like a tiny swing account where occasionally I'll put some swings in, but like my main account, I'm real strict on closing out.
You're all cash every night?
Well, I don't understand why in this market you would hold something over like I just don't understand. And then with the options, it scares me because you can't trade in after hours. So like, what if it's just no cash. I want to know what I have at 4:00.
That's respectful. I mean, I swing. I definitely swing options. So I don't.
Well, perhaps that's for, more experience later down the line, but I don't want to feel antsy. I don't want to be checking my phone at 7 o'clock, like, oh, where are we? 4 o'clock is time for the podcast, my kids, dinner. I'm off.
You're not really living the trader life, though. You ever wake up at 4 a.m. and see your penny stock go 500%?
No, I just cut it off at 4, and then I don't open
But Blaine, do you know what that feels like?
9:45.
It's you ever wake up, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and go, wow, I just made my yearly salary at 4 a.m. People are still sleeping.
I don't know what that's like. I don't want to know. Like,
That's
no.
true, yeah. Once you get one taste of it, it's all over.
That's really how people felt on a Facebook push this week.
Oh, my God.
My favorite trading thing, as you know, is opening halt up, being stuck in a penny stock opening halt up. That's my all-time best feeling that can happen in trading. But I'm off that now in the options. So
You can Snapchat might halt up on Monday. I'm telling you.
Think?
I had a dream last night. I took a bunch of melatonin gummies. That's what I thought of in my dreams. Now, what about you, Logan? Are you swing, or are you just strictly whatever your P&L is at the end of the day, you just call it a day?
Yeah, I do swing some of my contracts. And then also for the long-term investing question, I am a little bit embarrassed. I should be a little bit better with my longer-term investing, but I only have one long-term account right now. And then I have my crypto account and my options account and my Forex account as well.
Are you gonna buy the dip though on the market once we start bottom for the long term?
As soon as my waves tell me that we are primed to move higher, I will absolutely be acquiring some contracts to swing. Yeah.
I respect it. Now, do you use Elliott Wave and Forex too?
I do, but I actually prefer using my mechanical trading system in Forex, so it's completely based on indicators. And in that one, it's much more just day trading exclusively. I'm not swinging anything in the Forex market.
Do people swing in Forex?
Absolutely.
That would be terrifying. That's 24 hours.
Right. So if you really want to wake up, that's the worst because you can still execute your trades. So you can wake up in the middle of the night and try to close your trade instead of just looking at it.
It's like, oh no, dude, I went all in on Turkey, man. The president screwed me again. Now, you also do crypto. What are your favorite crypto holdings right now? Before we wrap up,
yeah.
What are some hidden gems? Right, we all know Ethereum's the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are the hidden gems you have right now?
So I'm sure you're familiar with the term maximalist, right?
Yep.
We try to describe ourselves in OBR as utility maximalists. So I really like Ethereum. I really like, there's a smaller altcoin called Nano. We're all really, really big bulls on Nano. I do make a lot of YouTube videos about Nano. I think that it's a really great project. It's instant and feeless transactions.
Interesting.
Yes, that was a really good one. Vite is another really good one. I really like Synthetics. Synthetics brings derivatives onto the blockchain, and the derivatives market is estimated at $1.2 quadrillion. It's by far the largest financial market. Derivatives are huge. So, VeChain is another great one, tapping into supply chain management.
Do they have a supply chain management crypto nowadays?
Yeah, they have it's radio frequency identification numbers that you can literally track a bottle of wine, for example, from the grape it was picked all the way till the time it hits your front door. It's wild. It blows my mind.
Wow.
It's all on the blockchain.
Okay. That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was reading a lot of news articles about I used to work for a manufacturing company, and they just implemented the blockchain, and people were going crazy about it. I'm sitting there I'm a young guy, I know what blockchain is, and I'm trying to explain it to my coworkers, and they're like, "Why are you so excited about this?" I'm like, "You just don't get it."
It's the adoption. It's really interesting to see the world start to adopt into these things. Sony is even partnered with VeChain now, so it's really interesting to see these larger companies come into the space.
I think they're starting to see hey, and also the blockchain provides so much transparency across the board of everything,
absolutely.
Right? That's the whole thing with NFTs, right? It's you can actually prove you own it. I'm not buying Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh cards and selling them on eBay, ripping people off anymore. So
right.
Do any of you guys play Yu-Gi-Oh when you were kids?
Yeah.
Not I.
Hell yeah, let's go, Ben. Yeah,
Blue
big
Eyes
Yu-Gi-Oh
Dragon
guy.
was my best card, literally. I think I actually was looking, dude. I literally looked that up the other day because I saw something like that sold for $3,000, and I'm scouring my house looking for this card.
Mom, where are my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, man? Come on, I'm trying to get a bag.
Where are the Pokemon cards too?
That's awesome. That's all I have from me. But you guys are really great. Very well done. You guys are super professional. We definitely got to check out
great.
OBR. You guys are
For sure.
the future of finance. I'm a little bit older. I'm 25. But seeing some young bucks come in here and make it professional and clean and actually have respect for people, it's good to see. I didn't sense any ego. You know, you get a lot of traders in here with huge egos, but you guys are real, authentic. You get my stamp of approval. And my friends are fans, so hey, there you go.
Awesome.
And Alice, by the way, you are
Congratulations
still a
on-
young buck as well, my friend.
And I feel
Yeah.
old, man. I got low back
Sounds
pain.
like Clayton Logan.
Oh Lord. Oh,
Yeah.
Alice, we got a new CBD sponsor. You gotta
CBD
throw some of that
sponsor?
on your lower
We get buzzed
back.
up. Let's go. Can you send me a box and I'll try them out?
I mean, I'm getting a sample box shipped to me. You want one?
Yeah, you want to send
Man,
me
we
one?
need a CBD sponsor.
Yeah, come on. Everyone needs a CBD. Really? You got a
Do you think
CBD
TikTok
sponsor?
will
That's
approve
cool.
of
I'm not
Yes.
much in. Yeah, you got to
Tiny
ask the
Q-
board. Yeah, be like, hey guys, can we get a CBD sponsor?
It was like super magical.
Yeah.
I put on Twitter, like, I really want a CBD sponsor because I have lower back pain. And the Wolf of Weed Street just wrote to, like, he was just like, to a company, he was just like, I demand you sponsor them. And they did.
Let's go. That's
It
awesome.
was really cool. So, anyway, I'll get you a box.
I'm down. I'll give my mom for Christmas. Her birthday. I don't know.
So, not to go on a tangent, but the CBD company's like, how did you get into CBD? And I was like, my mom got me in. My back was hurting. My mom was like, you got to go to the Vitamins R Us or whatever and get you the CBD. And now I'm a big fan. But yeah, my mom got me into it.
There you go. I just want to get
All
buzzed
right,
up.
guys, this was lovely. I wish you guys nothing but success. I hope you'll come back and give us a progress update, and I can't wait to go check out all your social medias and just
Definitely.
be amazed.
Thanks so much, Blaine.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Cool,
Seriously,
thank
this
you.
is definitely one of our. I love going out and kind of talking, and because people see all the stuff on the surface, but once they really hear everything that goes into it, I think it definitely brings a bigger picture to all of this. So yeah, thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. All right, guys, time to talk about Last Bottle Wine. I went on the website today and read the description for the bottle of the day, and I had to read it to you. It's so good. Their marketing team just does such a good job. The bottles are so discounted. It's so easy to buy them. The app is fun. I mean, if we're not all on it, I don't even know what to tell you. It's cool. All right, here's the description. When was the last time you drove off the edge of the Grand Canyon only to land in a valley full of currants, blueberry, mulberry, boysenberry, snozzenberry, and cloudberries? It's a dream, of course, but that's why we thought about this on tasting this 97-point bottle of Italian Dream Magic. Killer stuff, killer price, warm and soul satisfying. Please, someone order a sausage and mushroom pizza right now. Buy the wine, use the app. It's all fun. It's all good. Thanks, Penny Lane Potties. Thank you so much to our producer Joel Edwards and Chesley Lowe for the banjo music.
By accessing this podcast, you acknowledge that the Penny Lane podcast makes no warranty, guarantee, or representation as to the accuracy or sufficiency of the information featured in this podcast. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. This podcast should not be considered professional or financial advice. Unless specifically stated otherwise, the Penny Lane podcast does not endorse, approve, recommend, or certify any information, product, process, service, or organization presented or mentioned in this podcast, and information from this podcast should not be referenced in any way to imply such approval or endorsement. The third-party materials or content of any third-party site referenced in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions, standards, or policies of the Penny Lane podcast. The Penny Lane podcast assumes no responsibility or liability for the accuracy or completeness of the content contained in third-party materials or on third-party sites referenced in this podcast, or the compliance with applicable laws of such materials and or links referenced herein.